Look what we've got. Here we go. Right. Morning everyone. I'm just going to grab something that I've left over the other side of the room. Okay, so welcome to my Thursday morning crafting session. I was live last night for those of you that were able to join me, and I demonstrated some lovely new products. They're a little bit like Marmite from what I can understand. They are the Hey Chick stamp set and the dies bundle that are available now. The stamp set is in the mini catalogue. The dies are a one-off, so you'll find that information on the Demonstrator, on the Stampin' Up website. I really like them. I wasn't sure to start, but after a quick little play yesterday, I am hooked. So I hope you will enjoy today's live. I've got another little chicken and a little bit of watercolouring. So I am running a creative challenge through February. Each day there's a different prompt. Today's prompt is watercolouring. So I thought I'd do a quick little watercolouring technique to create our card today. So I'll just switch my camera around so you can see my desk, and then we can make a start. Let's just try and manoeuvre this. That's it. Just going to move that up a little bit. Better. Okay, so let's make a start. Look that up there. So this is the card that I'm going to make this morning. Cute colours today. I've got a little bit of Purple Posy and Coastal Cabana, which I really like those two colours together. And of course a little bit of Signature Black and White, which is my favourite. So super simple layers today. I've got a Purple Posy card base, and it is a tent fold, which means it stands like a tent. We have some more of that gorgeous True Love DSP. I've got a piece of shimmery white cardstock, and I've got a piece of basic white for the inside. Okay, so this DSP I'm really loving at the moment. Here is last night's card, using that as our main front, and here I'm going to tuck it behind and just use as a little bit of layering. So to start with, we just need our piece of shimmery white cardstock. The important thing to remember when you're watercolouring is to have a clear surface. Don't have anything around, just in case you knock your water pot over or the ink goes a little bit everywhere. You can tell I've probably done that before. So I'm going to use our silicone mat. These are in the tools section of the annual catalogue, and they're really handy for watercolouring. And I'm going to use, rather than my ink pad, I'm going to use one of our ink refills. So this is the Coastal Cabana ink refill, and quite simply I'm just going to put a few little dots on my silicone mat. Okay, you can also use your blocks for this, but I'm going to make quite a bit of a wet area, so I wanted to use this mat. I find it a little bit easier. And then I'm using one of our water painters. These are really handy. They come in 3 different sizes in a pack of 3, and I'm using probably the middle one. Okay, so you fill the end with water, and then you can squeeze the water out onto your surface, and you can obviously paint with them. So I'm just adding a little bit of water and just creating a really nice puddle, so to speak. The more water you use, the further the watercolour will go. The less ink you use, the more difficult it will be. Okay, so to create our little wash, I'm going to take my now inky water painter, and I'm just going to add it to my card. Okay, and I tend to do this in layers. So once I've done that first layer, what I would normally do is I would leave it to dry, but in the essence of time today and that we're live, I'm going to do this with my heat tool. So I'm just going to dry that with my little heat tool. And that on its own is a really nice watercolour background. Now to get the different layers of colour, just add a little bit more on. And then dry again between each layer. The more water you add, obviously the longer it will take to dry. And now you can see that real definition in those layers. It took me a while to get used to this technique, but I really do like it. Okay, and then set that. And then if it curls, just turn it over and heat the other side, and it will eventually flatten out. Okay. So I'm happy with that now. So that's 3 layers of ink today, and you can see that there's definition between all those 3 layers. It's still a little bit damp in the middle, so I'm just going to do a little bit of spritzing, and then I'm going to pop that to one side. Okay. So using a basic black Stampin blend, just done a little bit of spritzing, which no project of mine is complete without a little bit of spritzing. Okay, and then we can bring in our stamp. So this is my Hey Birthday Chick stamp. I need a little bit of, just seeing what scrap white I've got. Not a piece that's big enough. What's this? Yes, I do have a piece that's big enough. Okay, so I'm going to be using this little one here down the bottom. So the crazy hair chicken eating the cake. You could say it's a bit like me, really. So bringing in a piece of basic white, I'm quite simply going to stamp with Memento. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to stamp that on this piece of watercolour background. 1, because it gives me an idea of where it's going to go. And 2, well, I'll explain the second one once I've die cut it out. Okay, so we've got our little chick now, so that can go to one side. Bring this back in, and then we can colour. So I'm using a selection of Stampin blends. For the chicken's body, I'm using Smoky Slate. I'm not quite sure there is such a thing as a grey chicken, but hey, we're just going with it today. And then with that, so just going around the edge, I'm now going to use the colour lifter, and I'm just going to bring that colour in a little bit. Just going round in circles on the edge of that grey, because I don't want to add too much. I want them to be quite light. Okay, like so. Oh, and don't forget his head. Lovely. Colour lifters are really, really useful. Okay, for his hair, I've decided it's a boy. I'm going to use Purple Posy. Now this is the same colour as our cardstock, our card base that we've used. So he's having purple hair and he's having a purple tail, because why not? And then again, to add a little bit of definition, I'm just going over with the dark. That's it. His beak, I'm using Calypso Coral, the light shade, if I can get the lid off, which I can. That's for his beak. And then for his feet. For his feet, I just want them to be a bit lighter, so again I'm going over with that colour lifter. The colour lifter is exactly what it says. It lifts the colour out of your colouring. Okay. And then adding the little candle. I've got a yellow flame. I'm going to have a purple candle. And then for the cupcake, I'm going to bring in that blue now. So I've got Pool Party and Light Bermuda Bay. Okay, so you probably can't see much of this, but I will show you in a second. Okay, so there we have our chicken all coloured. So you can see it's a really delicate colouring. There's not a massive amount going on there, but it suits the style of the card. So now we're going to pop our die on. And I've already got my washi tape on from earlier. So last night, for those of you that were watching, I had issues with my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Couldn't get it to roll through. The good news is that as soon as I tried it afterwards, it worked perfectly, which is always the way, isn't it? So the trick is, just going to get rid of some of these bits on these plates. So the trick is to stagger your plates. So I have that on like so, and then that one, okay. And then it rolls through quite nicely. So it wasn't broken, it was just not working for me last night, but we're through that now. So we just pop out our little chicken. Carefully peel off that washi tape, lovely. So the reason that I have stamped it on that background is because when I put that on, I didn't like this bit here. You see this bit? Didn't like it, so I'm going to cut it off, but I still want the crumbs on the card. I'm just going to trim around that, and it's gone. Much better. It's just my personal taste, but I quite like it. I like it a little bit better like that. So I'm just going to add some dimensionals to make our little guy stand out. There we have it. So it's starting to come together quite nicely now. So I can bring in my card base, and I have chosen a stamp for the background, so you can't really see this too much, but on the base of my card I've done a little bit of background stamping. Now there isn't a purple posy ink pad, there was a problem with production, so Stampin' Up removed it from their product list. So I'm going to use Coastal Cabana as my ink colour, which is the colour that we've used for our watercolour, and I'm using this little spray image. Okay, so just adding a little bit of that stamping around the edge of our card, like so. And now we're ready to put things together. I'm adding my layer of DSP first, and that's going to go on there like so. And then we have our cute top layer. So just pop that down. I'm going to move that up a little bit because I don't want too much of that black DSP showing. It's just a little bit to break up that background. Okay, So our card is starting to look like a card now, which is good news. I'm going to use some of this, what is it called? Glittered organdy ribbon. So it's basic black and silver, and it's really, really shiny. I'm just going to cut a little bit of that, like so. And then we want to stamp our sentiment. So quite literally, I have a scrap of basic white, and I have the happy birthday sentiment from the Hey Birthday Chick stamp set, and I'm going to stamp it just in the centre like so. Oh, that's terrible stamping. That in the bin. My Y was a bit wafty. Okay. Much better. Right, so now I'm going to cut this into a little bit of a banner. You could by all means use a die for this to add your label. I'm just adding something without a die. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of layering. I'm going to fold this over. Actually, that's quite big. That's better. So now I'm going to take my organdy ribbon, and I'm going to layer on. It's still a bit too big. That's better. So I have roughly 8 centimetres of ribbon now. So fold it over, and I have mine so that it goes off the page ever so slightly. And this is where you could do with a third hand. Let's bring it down a bit. It's better. Okay, so I have my everything in place where I want it to go. Now I'm going to use a stapler. This is a Stampin' Up stapler. It's really old. They don't sell them anymore, but you can use any stapler that you have, and it's just another way to add things to your card. So I'm leaving that to kind of float free, because why not? It just adds a little bit of different texture to your card. You could pop a little dimensional under if you wanted. And then to finish our front, I'm going to add a couple of matte black dots. These are my hostess gift for February, so when you spend more than £25 with me, you get a free pack of these in the post in March. Okay, so that is our finished card front. We just need to decorate our centre piece. So I have my piece of basic white, and I'm going to do, of course, a little bit of spritzing. And then I'm going to bring back in our chicken stamp, and I just want to stamp, I'll show you the centre of the one I made earlier. I just want that cupcake, so I'm going to add ink just to the cupcake area of my stamp. I have a little bit of scrap and stamp. Okay, so then we'll colour in our cupcake again. So I've got Bermuda Bay and Pool Party for the cupcake case. There isn't a Coastal Cabana blend, so it's the closest thing to it. Little purple candle and a little yellow flame. Okay, get those out of the way. And then rather than die cutting, I'm just going to fussy cut around this. Pieces away, and then we can build our card. So our piece of white is going to go in the centre, so. I want to stamp the Let's Celebrate You sentiment. And I want one of these little blue sprays. Like that. So it looks like there's a real party going on the inside of our card, and then we put in our coloured and fussy cut cupcake to bring the front inside. Okay, so there we have our finished card for this morning. So I'll bring in my sample. So I have used a little bit of watercolouring to create my background. This is the one I made at the beginning, so a little bit of watercolouring. Here is a little bit more, so I went a bit mad, and you can see there's real definition in the watercolouring, and I've done that by building up the layers and drawing in between each layer. Okay, we've then got our little coloured and die cut chicken that's having the cake, and then I've created my sentiment area here, and then inside we've got a little more detail. So that is my card for today. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your Thursday with me. I really do appreciate it. All of these products are available to purchase from my online store right now. If you spend more than £25, enter the Hostess code and you will get a free pack of matte black dots in the mail next month. If you spend more than £45 until the end of February, you can choose an item for free from our celebration catalogue. If your wish list is a little bit bigger, you can choose the joining offer, and you pay £99 and you get £130 of product for free, plus 5 packs of DSP that's worth £50. So it's the best deal in the catalogue. I'll next be live on Sunday at 8:30 in the evening. I do hope you can join me. If not, the replays are all available on my page. If anyone's got any questions, please do get in touch. I'm off now to do a little bit of filming ready for a team event I've got next week. Really excited about that, and I'm enjoying the sunshine today. It's a beautiful day today. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Take care now. Bye.